Hi everyone, welcome to our weekly live room at binary.com. We're going to take a look at the Forex and the charts in just a minute. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at this PowerPoint quickly to explain you, for example, the risk disclaimer. And the risk disclaimer explains that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for educational purposes only. Please pause the video to read the entire disclaimer, and I thank you for your attention on that. So let's head over to this link that you can use to get a warning when the recording is ready, because we have a live session at 7 a.m. UK time. But if you're not able to join us at that time, you can get an email and then you'll know when the recording is ready. And you can get that recording if you sign in to blog.binary.com/weekly trading room. So please pause the video to get that link. Otherwise, let's take a look at the economic calendar and then we'll head over to the charts. And today we have, on Monday the 14th of October, we have bank holidays in Canada and in US. So be aware that today could be a very slow trading day. Because of that, usually liquidity quickly decreases when you have bank holidays like that in the US or UK or majority of Europe. When you're looking at Tuesday, nothing that much. Wednesday, not either. Thursday and Friday, nothing really substantial. You do have some high impact news, but nothing of a FMOC or NFP. So let's head over to the charts and take a look at the euro dollar weekly. And you can see here that the euro dollar is really range bound, very, very rangy. Last week was a small inside candle, in fact, with no substantial, power to it. Very small weekly candle, in fact, only 130 pips, which is really a very small range. You can see also we're very close to this top. So basically, if we zoom out to the month and then zoom out a bit so we can see what's going on here, either this is a three-wave move up to go back to 142, for example, or this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2. So we only know one of the two. If it breaks, for example, above the top, then we know that it's more bullish count. At the moment, it could be definitely a bearish count, and we could be retesting this top. If that is so, we're close to resistance, and price could fall to lower ground right in here. So one way of keeping an eye on that is, for example, a trend line like this, and a trend line like that, to see if support would be broken. Also, a horizontal support around 131 is important. So let's move on to the day chart. And within this uptrend, we can see further more evidence of bullishness if we stay above 134.60, which is the last support, or in fact maybe even this support right in here, 134.80. So really, price would need to break through these green lines and purple lines before really the bearishness is confirmed. All right. Now, if it stays above there, we can keep pushing to the upside. And be aware of the 137 though, which is a major resistance. All right, so we can keep pushing up. If we break 137, then we could eventually move on to 142, but of course nothing goes in one straight line. There will be always ups and downs. So if we zoom into the 4-hour chart, we can see maybe this trend line here being a good indication of potential resistance, that if we break that, we can maybe make some upside. Even if we do make that upside, be careful of 136.45 and 137, as I said earlier. All right, because 134.65 is the last top. So that's always something to be aware. If price would go to that level, we could respect that level and start making, for example, a sideways range like this, up and then down. Alrighty. So that's it regarding the euro for the regarding the count and the analysis. One more thing I wanted to add: if it is bearish, something like this could happen. For example, this could be considered a 5-wave down. This could be wave 1, for example, and this could be a correction of the sort for wave 2, and we can go down maybe for wave 3 or for an ABC, and then still bounce here to the upside. So there are a lot of options as always. That's why it's important to keep an eye on these lines to see which scenario unfolds. Alrighty, the pound dollar. Let's start with the week chart. And basically, we got a similar situation going on as the euro, in fact. And you can see the price rejected pretty strongly off of that top right in here. All right, so when it approached the 163, price really moved down a lot, and we had a pretty good bearish weekly candle. Look at that. So last week we had a continuation, in fact. So the pound dollar a bit more bearish than the euro because it's breaking support a bit there, and had a very bearish week last week. So we still got 2 weeks. We're about halfway in October, so let's see how the rest of October pans out and plays out. But if you look at the daily chart, you can see divergence between the tops. We're breaking this uptrend channel as well, and we broke support here. So is this an ABC? Maybe. It could still be an ABC. So that's why this support here around 159.15 is important. If we break that, this bearish count is becoming confirmed. All right. Otherwise, we could still maybe see a push up, and then the 163, 163.50 zone would be very important. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Alrighty. Let me make this green. There it is. So here we can connect the tops as well, and keep an eye on that resistance line potentially. If we break out of that, then we can see that the bullish count is back, and we can make that up move. All right. If we stay below that purple line, maybe we could just continue with this, of course, nice downtrend on the 4-hour chart. Right. So keep an eye on that trend line. Very important. I'll make it a bit brighter color first so that it's very obvious which trend line I'm talking about. I'll be talking about this orange one. All right. That's a very important resistance line right there. So let's see if the price will return there for downside or break, hook back for more upside. Other than that, we can see that the 4-hour chart has made a it's at a bouncing spot. It's at a talking spot. Really, whether the currency is going to make that continuation of the downtrend on the 4-hour chart, or whether we're going to see a potential turnaround for more upside. All right. We do have divergence between these tops, but that's why we got that downside right in here. All right. Anything else I want to add? Not really. The oscillator on the daily chart is in fact down to the 0 line, which could mean that we're either ready for a continuation to the upside, or we're going to move back to the long-term moving average about 156, 157. Let's head over to the Aussie. Now the Aussie weekly just had a very small doji candle. That was really no significant move on the Aussie. It was just a very small, indecisive candle of 100 pips. Last week was a very slow trading week, wasn't it? All right. So really no movement at all. Now what remains here is basically a potential upside to about 197. That's the target right in here. And it's also the 50 fib of the downside. So we had a massive down move, of course, and we're now retracing that massive down move. Where could resistance be? At these fibs. We stopped at the 382, the 50 would be the next one, right? So that's a potential to stop at 97 because of that. Otherwise, we do see some upswing here already, so it depends how far the upswing can go. Let's see if there's a potential for the currency to move down from this top where I have the green line. If that's the case, then we would need to break below 92.70 for that count to be confirmed. All right. So let's head over to the day chart. And we can see that either this is a correction for more downside, or this was upside. One more time, this was upside, correction for more upside, right? So that's something that we only know if we really break below 92.70 or above this top right in here at 95.25, 95.20. All right. Now, if we look at the daily chart, we can see that if we break above 94.80, there's already a very high likelihood for that continuation to the upside, in my opinion. All right. So we're very close to that. Let's see if that happens. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. And you can see that strong up move in 3 waves. And we just recently bounced off of 382, although the upside here was choppy. So I have to see if we can break above this orange line for more upside, or do we maybe break below this orange line for more downside. All right. In both cases, always be aware of the support and resistance there. But my bias is bullish, and I'm expecting this up move to 97. But I'm only playing that out. I'm only trading that if price is to confirm that view by breaking above the orange and breaking above the top. Alrighty, let's move over to the dollar yen. And in fact, on the weekly chart, we saw a bullish candle. All right, indicating support off of this support fractal, which was expected. So let's take a look at this move. We had, of course, a very strong uptrend, right? Very strong. And we had a correction ever since, right? A triangle correction. And it looks like at the moment that we finished that triangle. So this could be the finish of wave 4, because we have here a potential A, B, C, D, E. Now, E could not finish below point C. And it didn't. All right. So this could be the bullish continuation. So let's take a look at that on the 1-hour chart. If you look at the 1-hour chart, you can see that this is a potential 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. As always. And then we had here potential wave 3, 4, 5. And now we're making again maybe a 4, 5, 4, 5. So I'm expecting a lot of 4 5s here to the upside continuation. All right. Now, if that were not true, then price can surely not go below 97.450. Otherwise, the count is different than I expect. At the moment, I'm expecting a move down to the 382 fib, or maybe even a bounce right in here. 382 is at 98, to go to and continue up to eventually 100. The first target is 98.90, and then we could see another wave forward and another move up to the 100. All right, so that is approximately what I'm expecting on the lower time frames here. Something like this. Down, up, down, up. All right, potentially all the way to 100. And you can see that if we get that move up here, this is what I'm expecting, right? A move down to 382 fib, then up to the 272 target, then a correction, then up to the 618, correction up to this green line at 100. And the green line is that weekly trend line, in fact, acting as resistance. So something like that I expect, but no deeper or lower than 97.50. Otherwise, the whole idea is invalidated. Alrighty, that's the dollar yen bullish count and bullish continuation expected here up to 100. Moving on to XAU USD, and let's take a look at the weekly chart and zoom in. Bearish weekly candle, in fact. And let's step back now a bit. You can see that there, of course, was a massive downside here, and we had recently a pretty good correction. So this is possible that we're correcting down from we're up, and then the 1520 would be a logical target because the 1520 was those big bottoms here on the left? Or is it downside, upside, and still one more downside? All right, I don't think that is as likely as the first scenario, but it's something we have to keep in mind. So let's take a look at the day chart and see what kind of lines are important. Maybe we can add one weekly line, by the way. Is this trend line, for example? Right about there. If we break above that, we can expect a bullish continuation. So that's one trend line we can keep an eye on. It's that orange trend line connecting those tops. All right. Other thing we can keep an eye on is this downtrend channel. We broke out of the blue uptrend channel, but we're now in a purple downtrend channel. If we break out of that purple downtrend channel to the upside, that too would confirm maybe the first idea that we can move up to the 1520 upside. Another thing we should have on our chart is a fib from up to down. Any of these Fibonacci levels could be support as well. So we're breaking through the 618, but the next one could be the 786. That could be a potential bouncing spot to the upside at 1235. All right. Other than that, we're still in a downtrend, so we should expect downside to the 786 and a bounce at the 786. And we'll have to see how price responds when it reaches back to the uptrend, at the top of this downtrend channel. Do we get more downside, or do we indeed get the break, hook back and go, hook back and go? So that's the most important lines here for XAU USD. By keeping an eye on the trend channel and the fib, the orange resistance line, you have a great idea what you can expect for this XAU USD. All right, downtrend, but watch out for potential support at the 786, at the 886, and the bottom. And if we do get the turnaround there, then watch for break of the trend line, break of the orange line for upside. Alrighty, that wraps up our analysis for the currencies and gold today. Thank you so much for being here, first of all. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right, make sure to go to binary.com and check out those potential trade ideas at the website. And I don't see any questions, so I thank you for your attention. And once more, the link, if you want to register, go to blog.binary.com/weeklytradingroom and you'll get an email when the recording is ready. I thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to see you next week, Monday, on the 21st of October. We'll take a look at what happened this week and take a look at next week again. Cheers and good trading.